to the back of my house today, and we are going to be working on Pork Carnitas, which is one of our favorite Mexican classic dishes. You'll find them in tacos, you can find them in taco salad bowls. Just a great, crispy, really good meat that has a lot of flavor. And it's really simple to make. Just ask my friends here. They'll tell you all about it, Mr. Pig and Mrs. Pig. They are excited about it now. I don't know how they're going to feel about it in a few minutes. What do you guys think? In any event, what we're going to look at here now is I've got to show you to start what type of equipment we're going to need. Everyone should have a Dutch oven. These things are just the best. I picked this up at the store. You can see inside how nice it is. It's deep. This retains and gets hot very, very quickly, and it stays hot for a long time, it retains its heat. That's what you're looking for on a long, drawn-out cooking process. This can go in the oven as well to finish things up, which is great. We're going to be using it on top of the stove to start today, and we'll be leaving it on there. But there are other dishes like stews and other things where you would actually move it into a 350-degree oven, for example. But for us, we're going to start with this today. Now, the cuts of meat that you need to look at. Again, we've got some pork belly here that we're going to put into about 1-inch slices. And then I've got some pork shoulder or Boston butt that we're going to put into small inch-sized pieces as well. What we're going to be looking to do is, the reason why we're using a combination of meat is that the higher fat content in the pork belly is going to allow us to essentially cook the meat in a confit style, which is cooking the pork meat in its own fat. It's going to make some wonderful flavors and terrific crispiness that we're looking for our pork carnitas today in my house. I've got my pork belly here. This has been defrosted. I picked this up at the market and we had it frozen, but we've defrosted it and it's ready to go. You can see this one comes in long strips. I got this at the butcher. Sometimes it'll come in a whole big piece and you'll have to cut your strips on your own. But you're just going to take a 10-inch chef knife and we're just going to slice into the meat, and you're going to get about an inch size piece, about that size right there. That's all you want to do. It's very easy. 1, 2, right? Just keep going down. And one of the techniques that you want to look on your knife is you want the knife to do the work. So you want to slide it through, and in your motion, it actually should be kind of a rocking motion. You want to keep your fingers tucked in so you're not chopping them off. Chopping off the fingers is not a good thing. I highly recommend that you don't do that. So let's continue to chop this. We want, again, these 1-inch size pieces, and we're going to get those into the into the Dutch oven. I've got about a 3-pound piece of the Boston butt pork shoulder. On the pork belly, it was about a pound, so it's about a 1-to-3 ratio that you're looking for. Again, same thing. This is a whole piece now, so what I'd suggest is you kind of just go right into it and create some slices around this thick to start, and then you can just use your knife to go through it and try to make yourself looking at about inch-sized pieces again. We're going to do the same thing for the pork shoulder. Again, we're going to get these into the pot. You can see here that we've got the Dutch oven here going with the pork meat in it. What we're looking to do is we've always got to season our meat. Okay, so I'm going to look at about 3/4 of a tablespoon of the kosher salt. You want to get that all around and covered in your meat there. See that? We're just going to get the salt right in there. Just kind of get it all in there and get it spread around. We'll move it around with a spoon in a minute. And then you want to do the same thing, about 3/4 of a teaspoon of the freshly cracked black pepper. Again, getting it all, spreading it all around in the pot to make sure you get full coverage here. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to let this continue to brown for a few minutes here. I think in total we'll have about 6 to 8 minutes of browning. You can see here some of those pieces are already starting to get brown on one side, right there. See that piece? We're going to look to continue to do that, get the browning going. Then we'll add our chicken stock again. Chicken stock, you want to cover the meat. So I've got about 4 pounds of meat here. I'm anticipating that I'm probably going to need around 3 cups or so of chicken stock to cover that. We'll bring that chicken stock to a boil, turn it down to a simmer, and put the top back on the Dutch oven, and we'll let it go for, as I said, about an hour and a half to 2 hours till we're getting the meat just falling apart. Okay, we're back to the back of my house. You can see I've got the chicken stock in the Dutch oven with the meat that I've browned. So now we're just going to let this come to a boil, and then we're going to put our top on and let it go for an hour and a half. No, excuse me, an hour and a half, 2 hours, like I talked about earlier. All right, now we've got the pork going here. This is about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes, and you can see that the liquid has reduced in there, but you can see these just beautiful pieces of pork in here. What we're going to do now is we're going to ramp up the heat on it with the top off. We're going to boil it for about 5 minutes on high heat with a nice rumble to our boil. And then we're going to reduce the liquid down even further. We want to get the liquid down, say, by another quarter or another third if you can. This has been boiling for about 10 minutes like I talked to you about. I've taken it off the flame now and off the heat, and you can see that our liquid is reduced down by about a third or so from where it was after we cooked it for an hour and a half, 2 hours. You can see we took our meat from here with a slotted spoon and transferred it over to our cast iron skillet. If you have another non-stick pan, that works too. I've got the heat on my stovetop at about medium high. We're going to look to get it nice and crispy. You can use a metal spatula like this to move the meat around as it begins to stick on the bottom, which will happen a little bit. And you're just looking for that crispy goodness. You want to start it to get crispy. All right, we are back to the back of my house, and we got some beautiful corn tortillas here on the hot pan. You can just put them down on their own, or you can put a little bit of oil on them as well, just to get them a little bit crispier. They're nice. But this is the texture that we're looking for on this meat. Look at that tidbit right there. Oh my gosh. Can't wait to taste that. All right, I told you about that tidbit that I wanted to try. Here it is. Oh man. The fat that's in there, with the meat, the texture, the crispiness. Exactly what we're looking for our carnita taco. We're gonna get it put together. We'll be back to the back of my house. All right, we've got our tacos plated. We had a change up. We used iceberg lettuce instead of cabbage, but that's okay. But we've got our avocado on there. We actually got some nice lemon juice or lime juice on there. Limon, as they say in Spanish, along with our salsa that we made. And we are ready to try these bad boys. Who's ready? I am. Patrick?
Yep.
Isabella? Yep. We're ready. Giddy up. Here we go. Where are the pigs, by the way? Have we seen the pigs? Oh, they're in the taco. Anyhow, let's give it a try. Man, the crunch of the meat with the with all the flavors going on here, this meat is so good. This is exactly what we're looking for. This is carnita tacos from the back of my house to the back of yours. We'll see you soon.